Hello and welcome to our video. It's your host OT19 or Ultimate Gamer 19,000, and I'm here today to present to you all episode 3 of season 2 of Random Multiclass Thursdays. Today's build is Champion of the Week or the Ultimate Beginner's Build. Before this video starts, make sure to like, comment, and kick that subscribe button in Minecraft, of course. And yeah, let's get right into it. So, to begin, the weapons we'll be using for this build is a maul. Now, you could use any two-handed weapon, and at later levels, you probably not even probably. At later levels, you can use any other heavy weapon. I personally think the maul's the best because it has the topple weapon mastery, and also 2d6, which is the best type of damage dice for any weapon. But like at level 7 or 8, you'll see why topple doesn't really matter. So if you want to, you could switch to a greatsword or something like that. But I think in a general sense, I'll be just assuming you're using a maul. Now, for your level 1 origin and origin feat, I personally think here, tough, picking up farmer to get tough is your best choice. Now with farmer, you can increase your strength and constitution and gain the tough feat. Tough, of course, just gives you more HP, which allows for newer players to make more mistakes, or for veteran players to just tank even more. Because this is a tank build. You'll be taking a lot of hits, so you need the HP to be able to receive them. And trust me, you have the damage to be able to dish them out. Now for our ability score array, we'll take a 15 strength fear plus 2, a 14 dexterity, a 15 constitution plus 1, 8 intelligence, 8 charisma, and 10 wisdom. So in total, 17 strength, 14 dexterity, 16 con, 8 intelligence, 10 wisdom, and 8 charisma. The reason I did this stat array is because, honestly, this build isn't the smartest, but with the new Fighter's Indomitable feature, yeah, because this is a fighter, spoilers, we can make saving throws very easily, and on this build we are also taking Mage Slayer, which just makes making saving throws super easy. So in my personal opinion, I think your best course of action is just to go like a stat array like this, because as a fighter, it is very likely that you won't be needing to worry about your saving throws because you'll just automatically succeed or have a very high chance of succeeding. Now, for our species, we'll be taking Dwarf. Now, the first things Dwarf get is Dark Vision of a range of 120 feet. They gain resistance to poison damage and advantage on any saving throw to avoid or end the poisoned condition. They also gain an additional hit point per level they gain, and as a bonus action, they can gain Tremor Sense with a range of 60 feet for 10 minutes. Now, they can only do this proficiency bonus times per long rest, but still, pretty nice. Now, as a level 1 fighter, we do gain quite a lot of features, so bear with me for a second. Our hit dice is a d10, our saving throw proficiencies in strength and constitution. We get to pick 2 skill proficiencies. I recommend taking athletics and intimidation, or insight or perception. I feel like athletics, perception, intimidation, or insight, because in the rules you do say that you could use strength for intimidation, so take that as you will. Your weapon proficiencies, you are proficient in every type of armor and every type of weapon in the game. So yeah, that's the thing about fighters, they're pretty much good at everything. Now, for our real class features, at level 1 we gain Fighting Style. This allows us to choose one fighting style feat of our choice, which we will be choosing the Defense Fighting Style, giving us a +1 to armor class if we're wearing armor. Now, at level 1 we also gain Second Wind. Basically, Second Wind is, as a bonus action, you can heal yourself for a d10 equal to your fighter level. Now, you gain a certain amount of uses to this feature. Per level, per couple levels you gain some more uses of it, and you gain 1 expended use when you take a short rest, but you regain all uses when you take a long rest. This seems to follow a pattern that many class features do now in 2024, where it's like you have like a bigger pool of them, but you only gain 1 of them back per short rest instead of all of them back like you did in 2014. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think that's a little dumb, but whatever. And also at level 1, you gain weapon masteries, allow you to unlock your mastery property with your weapon, which the mastery property for the maul is they topple weapon mastery. Basically, when we hit a creature with this weapon, you can force the creature to make a constitution saving throw. The DC equals your strength modifier and your proficient 8 plus your strength modifier and proficiency bonus on a failed save, the creature has the prone condition, meaning you and your allies all have advantage on hitting it. Now, it does not state in the text, because I do have the text on screen, that it's a hard once per turn, so make sure your DM is familiar with your enemies' constitution saving throws. Now, at level 2, we gain two really nice features. First of all, we gain Action Surge, which basically allows us to take an additional action on one of our turns, except for casting a spell or the magic action. Once you use this feature, however, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest, but at level 17, which we won't be reaching on this build, you can do it twice. So that doesn't matter, but still, Action Surge, very powerful, and gives us really good burst damage. So yeah. At level 2, we gain Tactical Mind. This basically allows us to expend the use of our second wind feature and roll a d10 on any failed ability check. If the ability check succeeds with the additional d10, we waste the second wind. If it still fails, we do not waste the second wind. This basically allows us to just, if we really need an important athletics check or an important intimidation check or important anything check, using Tactical Mind can really allow us to just succeed, which is, I really do like this about the fighter now. We're kind of having more ways to just add on stuff to what they're already good at. I really do like that very much. Now, at level 3, this is a beginner's build, so if you are not a beginner, and I probably would recommend picking up something like Battlemaster, because Battlemaster is just inherently better than Champion, but if you are a newer player, then the Battlemaster might be a little complex for you, and I'll just recommend taking the Champion subclass. Now, with the Champion, your attack rolls with weapons or unarmed strikes can score a critical hit on a 19 or a 20, which, I mean, this basically just doubles your chance to crit, and later on, in one level, we do take a feat where if you crit, you're doing a lot more damage, so improved critical is very powerful for this build. Now, at level 3, you also gain Remarkable Athlete. Thanks to your athleticism, you have advantage on initiative rolls and strength athletics checks. In addition, immediately after you score a critical hit, you can move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Yeah, this is really good. I mean, in 2014, this was a 7th level feature, but it gave you half your proficiency bonus to every dexterity and strength like check. Which, looking at it now, you are forced to make a. I wish it said like either strength or acrobatics checks you gain advantage on, or on both. I feel like only limiting people to do strength athletics checks does suck a little bit. But overall, it is a very good feature. Having advantage on strength athletics checks plus the additional D10 we may be able to add. If you really wanted to, this build could be a decent grappler. Also, advantage on initiative is just always nice because you always want to go first. Or if you roll really high, one of your allies rolls really low. Maybe your wizard took the criminal background and got alert. Then maybe your two initiatives can swap, and he can like do a hold person, and then you can just come in and start slicing away. Which, I mean, hold person would work with Remarkable Athlete, allowing you, because it isn't once per turn. So in theory, if you crit someone, use Remarkable Athlete, go to someone else and crit them, you can go back to the same guy. So I mean, I think that's definitely a very interesting play. Now, at level 4, we gain a feat and/or ability score improvement. Here, we're taking Great Weapon Master. If you don't know, Great Weapon Master used to be one of the most broken feats in D&D 2014. Now, in 2024, it's still very good, but actually, there is a debate, because, this video, I tried to record this video like 3 times, but I could never. And I do definitely, in some of my other videos, I was definitely thinking to myself, is Great Weapon Master better or worse than it was in 2014? Because here, you can still increase your strength score by 1. Well, you could in the original version. And also, you're no longer suffering a penalty to hit anymore. You just do extra damage. And I mean, especially, I do have a Paladin build coming up, which it uses Great Weapon Master pretty damn well. So I mean, it really makes you wonder, is Great Weapon Master, did it really receive that much of a nerf? I mean, yes, your proficiency bonus times proficiency bonus, it isn't once per turn. So I mean, as a fighter, you're making like 6 attacks peak, or like 5 attacks or 7 attacks at higher levels. So it really makes me wonder, is Great Weapon Master really that bad now? So I think overall, in a general sense, Great Weapon Master is just significantly better because you no longer have to deal with a -5. And at higher levels, I think if you're doing the math of damage calculation where you're including your plus to hit, then Great Weapon Master is just significantly better. Almost that. I mean, unless I like really low enemy armor classes, but I mean, you still have the thing where if you score a critical hit on a target, you can make an additional attack as a part of your bonus action. That attack, however, cannot benefit from Heavy Weapon Master, which allows you to add extra damage to your weapon equal to your proficiency bonus. So yeah, overall, Great Weapon Master a very good feat and definitely a must-have for this build in my personal opinion. Now, on level 5, we gain 2 new abilities. We gain Extra Attack and Tactical Shift. Extra Attack reads, when you take the attack action on your turn, you can now attack twice instead of once. Pretty good. I mean, it literally doubles our DPS. You can't really complain. And on level 5, you gain Tactical Shift. Whenever you activate your second wind with a bonus action, you can move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. I mean, yeah, this is just really good. I mean, if you combine this with our level 3 champion ability, our mobility, it can be really nice because, I mean, we are going to be landing critical hits decently often, especially if we can land, especially if we do like topple with action surge. We're almost like, I'm not going to say guaranteed, but you have a very high chance of landing a critical hit here. And if you do, you just gain insane amounts of mobility. I mean, overall, the fighters have a surprising amount of mobility added to them, which I find very interesting. And not even just like archers or anything, just all fighters now, which I definitely do like. Now, we have our level 5 damage report. Now, on your first turn, if you use your attack action to hit someone with your maul, and also use the maul's weapon master, it doesn't add to damage, but I just included it. On average, you'll be doing 28 damage. Pretty good. Now, if you crit someone on one of your attacks with your maul, you'll be doing 46 damage. Now, if you don't crit someone, but you do kill something, allowing you to activate your Great Weapon Master feat, which reads, if you crit someone or reduce a creature to 0 hit points, you can make an extra attack for bonus action. You'll be doing an average of 39 damage. Now, if you use Action Surge, if you crit on one attack, you average 74 damage. If you do not crit at all, but you do kill someone, you average 67 damage, and your average to hit here is 17.5 with advantage decently often. Now, of course, if you want to know what your just plain old no crit, no killing, or nothing damage is with Action Surge, just double 28. Now, at level 6, we gain an additional general feat, which we will be taking Mage Slayer here. Mage Slayer, we're taking it because, again, it increases our strength for dexterity by 1. Well, of course, we're going to be increasing our strength. And also, if a creature is when we damage a creature and they're concentrating on a spell, it has disadvantage on a saving throw. It makes to maintain concentration when this build is hitting up to like 5 times in a turn. 5, and on average we're doing like I think 14 damage per strike, assuming no crits. That creature's gonna have a hard time staying onto their spell, like unless their constitution score is really high. But I mean, hey man, if you make 5 saving throws in a row, you have a high chance of rolling a 1 or 2. So, oh, sorry, I hit my mic. Also, we have Guarded Mind, which is literally just a legendary resistance. If you fail an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma saving throw, you just cause yourself to succeed. And this is once per short rest. So I originally thought, oh yeah, that would be once per long rest. There's no way. But no, it's once per short or long rest. So yeah, on a build like this where your intelligence, your wisdom, and charisma are decently low, you always take Mage Slayer here. Because holy, Mage Slayer is just so damn good. Now, as a level 7 character, we will be multiclassing into Barbarian. Honestly, I mean, Barbarian Fighter, it's like peanut butter and jelly. They're both very good martials, and we combine them together, they just become even better. Now, I was assuming your character was originally wearing heavy armor, so maybe you probably wanna, instead of, if your allies, you're like, oh, let's give you some heavy armor, maybe like, oh no, just give me some half plate instead. Trust me, that'll just fit me better. Because as a Barbarian, you cannot wear heavy armor when using your rage, and trust me, Rage is one of your biggest ways to get damage on your turns. Now, with Rage, the very simple of it, because it is a very large feature, you can read it here, is you resist all forms of bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. You have an advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws, and when you make attack rolls using strength, you can add some extra damage. Also, you cannot cast or concentrate on spells, and rage lasts until the end of your next turn, unless you make an attack roll against an enemy, force an enemy to make a saving throw, or take a bonus action to extend your rage. Um, your age. Overall, very good feature. You do regain one use of it. When you do a short rest, regain all uses on a long rest. That's just really good because it used to just be you gain all uses on a long rest. Now I feel like I was watching a Kobe D&D D4 deep dive video. Shout out to him. I love his videos. And I remember him saying that cuz he was doing a very baseline build where I think it was like a fighter barbarian but like used no resources. And I was like, and he was like, Rage, I'm not allowing myself to use Rage because it technically is a resource. And I'm like, if you're getting one per short rest back, I mean, as a barbarian, I feel like every single fight you do, you're going to have a use of your Rage. Especially if you gain them back on short rest now. I don't know. I think, me and him disagreed on that. But overall, I just think as a barbarian, you're probably going to be raging every single turn now, or every single fight at least, because I assume you're not going to be needing it every single turn. I mean, overall, it's just rage is very powerful, and I mean, you're just using it now. You're going to be able to use it way more often, which definitely is a massive boon, especially when we get to our subclass. But that's in 2 levels. Oh, okay. Well, I accidentally double clicked. But now, as a level 8 character or barbarian 2, we gain 2 features. We get danger sense, which just gives us advantage on all dexterity saving throws, unless we have the incapacitated condition, which now we can succeed on any intelligence, charisma, or wisdom saving throw, and we have advantage on all dex saving throws, and are proficient in strength and con saving throws. Yeah, this build's pretty good at making its saving throws, to put it fairly. And also at level 2, we gain reckless attack, which basically allows us to gain advantage on every attack we do in that turn, but enemies have advantage against us every turn we're using reckless attack. I mean, I guess if you're facing like bare bone zombies, like CR -1 zombies, then I guess you shouldn't be using reckless attack. But honestly, reckless attack is a feature when paired with the champion's ability to crit. It's just super powerful now, and especially when we do crit, we just gain so much utility. And also, you do not have to be raging to use reckless attack. So if by some miracle by some miracle of Lathander himself, you somehow still don't have any uses of your rage left, which I find that very hard to believe, you can still be using reckless attack and critting decently often. So yeah, now, as a level 3 barbarian, we gain a subclass and a primal knowledge feature. You gain an additional proficiency in a skill of your choice from the skill list available to barbarians. In addition, while your rage is active, you channel primal power when you attempt certain tasks. Whenever you make an ability check using one of the following skills, you can make it a strength check even if it's normally uses a different ability. Acrobatics, intimidation, perception, stealth, or survival. When you use this ability, your strength represents primal power coursing through you, honing your agility, bearing, and senses. Yeah, this feature's pretty good. I mean, this really just, I mean, this combined with Second Wind really just allows you to be this ultimate skill user. I mean, now your stealth checks are gonna be, yeah, your stealth checks are gonna be good. Your intimidation checks are gonna be even better. Your acrobatics, perception, survival. I love imagining like you're so angry, you're just looking around very angrily. And I mean, you can now increase your rage by using your bonus action. So I mean, you definitely. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's much of a stretch to say that you probably could. I don't know if should, but you definitely could be using your rage to now have utility. And I really like the idea of giving rage utility outside of combat. I think it's a very interesting choice, and overall, I definitely like it. Now, as a level 3 barbarian, we also gain a subclass, and here we'll be taking Path of the Berserker. There's the art for the Path of the Berserker. I mean, pretty damn cool. Dual wielding, which of course barbarians cannot dual wield. Decently efficiency, but we're not dual wielding here. The main reason we took this class is because of our frenzied ability. If we use our reckless attack feature while our rage is active, you do extra damage to the first target you hit on your turn with a strength-based attack. To determine the extra damage, roll a number of d6s equal to your rage damage bonus. For the whole build, this will be 2. So basically, when we're reckless attacking and we're raging, we can add 2d6s to our first attack, which this significantly increases damage. The damage has the same type as the weapon or unarmed strike used for the attack, so I guess if you attack someone with like a sun sword, then you'll just be doing radius frenzy damage. Very interesting paladin build. But yeah, as a 10th level character, we'll be taking our 7th level fighter. Here's honestly with 2 choices. Now, as a 7th level fighter and as a 7th level champion, we gain an additional fighting style. Really good, pretty cool. And now I was torn between thrown weapon fighting and blind fighting. I took thrown weapon fighting here because you can reckless attack with a thrown weapon. So I know maybe if your DM gives you like if your DM gives you like a dwarven thrower, then like you'll be really good at using it because you'll just be hawking it across the battlefield. Yeah, so I do definitely think that you probably should take thrown weapon fighting here. Even not, just giving yourself, like, making, if you throw javelins, just making those javelins even stronger, and just tearing through your enemies. Overall, I think thrown weapon fighting probably is a good choice. Blind fighting is also a very good choice, but we do have dark vision, so I just chose thrown weapon fighting because it does increase our damage if we're using thrown weapons. Now, our 10th level damage report. On turn 1, if you use our bonus action to rage and action to attack, we'll be dealing 41 points of damage. Now, if we crit on our first attack while raging, we do 68 points of damage on average. Of course, all these numbers I'm telling you are on average. If we do not crit anyone but we kill an enemy, we'll do 50 points of damage on average. If we use action surge, crit on the first attack while raging, we do an average of 102 points of damage. If we do action surge, no critical hit, but we do kill something, it is 88 points of damage, and our average to hit with permanent advantage is 18.5. So yeah, there you go. Now, as an 11th level fighter, as an 11th level character, 8th level fighter, we gain an additional ability score improvement here. I personally recommend just picking up +2 to Constitution. This build is having, I think I made this build, and it had like 282 points of HP. So yeah, this build is very tanky. It's better than Grog from Vox Machina, which is very impressive because he is a nearly fully built barbarian with a 22 con score. Yeah, this build has disgusting amounts of HP. So yeah, very, very good. Overall +2 con. Who doesn't like more HP? That's all I gotta say. Now, as a level 9 fighter, we gain 2 new features. The first one being Indomitable. This is basically a weaker version of Mage Slayer. When we fail a saving throw, you can reroll it with a bonus equal to your fighter level. You must use the new roll, and you can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. You can use this feature twice before a long rest starting at level 13, and then level 17 you can use it 3 times, but don't worry about that. This basically gives you a +9 to any saving throw you make, which at higher levels of fighter, that is base. At level 16, which is the highest level fighter will be reaching with this build, that's a +16 to any saving throw you make. You really gotta roll really bad to fail it, because if you roll a 10, you roll a 26. Like, you gotta stink up some rolls to really fail that. Overall, Indomitable is a very powerful feature. At level 9, we gain Tactical Master. When you attack with a weapon whose weapon mastery property you can use, you can replace that property with the push, sap, or slow property for that attack. Honestly, I'd probably recommend just using Sap. Sap does impose disadvantage on the creature's next attack roll, which they already have advantage on it, so it'll just be neutral. So yeah, I'd probably recommend just using Sap. Yeah, I think that's generally just the best. But if you are going to be using ranged weapons, then maybe using Sap or then maybe using Slow might be good too. But then you don't want to go near them. So overall, I think Sap is probably just going to be your best choice. Now, as a 13th level character, but 10th level fighter, as a champion, we get Heroic Warrior. Basically, during combat, you give yourself Heroic Inspiration whenever you start your turn without it. That's really good. Heroic Inspiration basically just allows you to re-roll any dice roll in the game. Meaning, if you roll a saving throw, you can re-roll it. If you roll an ability check, re-roll it. Attack roll, re-roll it. You roll a 1 on damage, and you care for some reason, re-roll it. I wouldn't recommend re-rolling damage, but and re-rolling a potentially paralyzing saving throw might be a little more important in my opinion. But still, heroic inspiration is very powerful. And I mean, you're a 13th level character in D&D. You probably know to keep track of, oh, I got heroic inspiration. Like, let's be real here. Like, you probably can use this every single turn. It probably should be using every single turn. Now, if you do know you're facing a creature that doesn't really impose saving throws, he just kind of attacks you, then you probably would use heroic warrior on your to hit, or maybe your to damage. But overall, it's a very solid feature. Now, as a 14th level character, 11th level fighter, we gain 2 extra attacks. Basically, we can now attack 3 times instead of 2 times when we take the attack action. Very strong, because holy moly, do we do damage. As a 12th level fighter, I think here we personally just take an additional +2 to our constitution, bumping that up again so now we have a 20 constitution. Yeah, this build's HP is pretty damn ridiculous. Now we have our 15th level damage report. Turn 1. If we use our bonus action to rage and our action to attack, we do an average of 64 points of damage. If we crit on the first attack while raging, we do 92. No crit, but we do kill something, we get 78. If you use action surge critical hit on the first attack while raging, we do 148 points of damage. Whoo! If we use our action surge, no critical hit, but we do kill something, we do 135 points of damage on average, and our average to hit, also with permanent advantage, is a 20.5. Pretty damn solid. Now, as a 13th level fighter, 16th level character, we gain study attacks. Basically, you study your opponent and learn from each attack you make. If you make an attack roll against a creature and miss, you have advantage on your next attack roll. Oh. Think we got that around 7 levels earlier. But I mean, it's a decent feature. I mean, if we weren't having advantage on every single attack, then this feature would probably be a lot better. But, you can't really complain. I mean, I think for a general sense, most fighters who don't take 2 levels of Barbarian or even 3 probably are really gonna like that feature. So, now, as a 17th level character, 14th level fighter, I here pick up Resilient. I pick up Resilient Wisdom. This allows us to increase our Wisdom score by 1 and gain proficiency in Wisdom saving throws, proficiency in Wisdom saving throws, plus Indomitable, plus Heroic Inspiration, plus Mage Slayer. We're not going to be failing saving throws that really matter very often. Because yeah, we have a lot of defensive utility with this build, which I never thought a champion fighter barbarian would have a lot of defensive utility when it comes to making mental ability saves. But hey, in 2024 D&D, folks, and as a level 15th level fighter, 18th level character, we gain superior critical. Basically, we now crit with an 18 or 20 on a d20. I mean, combine this with heroic inspiration, plus advantage on every strike, plus the fact we're doing 3 strikes in a turn, potentially 4. You're gonna be critting almost every other turn, I would like to say. I mean, I don't really think that's much of a stretch either. I think that's like, yeah. Because you have heroic inspiration. Well, you can use heroic inspiration if you have advantage. But, I mean, anyways, you're making 3 attacks in a turn, all with advantage. You're critting on 18, 19, or 20. You're going to be critting decently often, I like to say. Maybe every other turn, but that may be a stretch to some people. Who knows? Now, as a 19th level character, but a 4th level barbarian, we'll be taking a feat, and we'll be taking Boon of Fortitude. This basically increases our hit point maximum by 40, and in addition, whenever you regain hit points, you can regain additional hit points equal to your constitution modifier, which is a +5. Once you regain those additional hit points, you can do so again until the start of your next turn. Here, we also will be taking a +1 to our strength, because at level 20, we'll be taking an additional epic boon. Yes, this build gets 2 epic boons. This is one of those reasons why this build is such a good beginner build, because they can just use so many extra epic boons, and epic boons are pretty damn cool. Now, the boon of combat price, firstly, allows us to increase our strength score again so now our strength score is 22, which is a +6, which is very nice. And also, when we miss an attack roll, we just hit instead, and we can only do this once per turn. I mean, I highly doubt we're going to be missing attack rolls with this build, but you never know. Now, our level 20 damage report. On your turn 1, bonus action attack, bonus action rage, attack action, on average you're doing 70 points of damage. If you land a critical hit on your first attack, while you're raging, you're averaging 99 points of damage. If you do not crit, but you do kill something, you average 85 points of damage. And if you use an action surge critical hit on your first attack while raging, that's 162 points of damage. If you use action surge, no critical hit, but you do kill something, that's 148 points of damage. And your average to hit with permanent advantage is a 22.5. Yeah, that's today's build. Overall, this build is very damn powerful. And now I will be opening up to show you all the character. Not the character like the tables for each. While I do talk about the build. So yeah, this build is very powerful, man. I mean, for beginners, I feel like beginners will definitely love it. Because they do gain just so much of like everything. They can make saving throws well. They have so much HP. Their damage is so like disgusting high. Oh, this is the barbarian table. We are a 4th level barbarian, meaning our rage damage is a +2. We gain 3 weapon masteries, and we have 3 uses of our rage. Yeah, overall, this build is just perfect. I mean, even for more older and experienced players, if maybe you just want to turn off your brain a little and just have fun being a martial character, making your saving throws, cutting down your enemies, moving around the battlefield, I think this build really does work. Now here is the fighter class table. We gain an additional use of second wind at 5th level, an additional use of second wind at 10th level, and then yeah, that's it. So yeah, overall, what are my thoughts on this build and the fighter and barbarian? Both very solid. I mean, the fighter now has a lot of good features. Now, of course, when you multi-class the fighter with a barbarian, some of your features does become a little less impactful. But I mean, still, the fact this build is able to get 2 epic boons is really nice, because this is one of the most quintessential martial builds, barbarian and fighter multi-class. Being able to get 2 epic boons is just, especially when your hit point maximum is increased by 40 with one of them, and you can never miss an attack with the other one. Yeah, this build is just really nice. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because yeah, that's your host, OT19, signing out. Peace.